Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Da-dum-bum-bum. Just sharing this around. Let's see here. Let's see what we got. Good morning, Miss Lynn. Good to see you. Let me make sure I have all this down. There we go. Let me put this. I know I'm late. I'm sorry. I don't even have any excuses. Do you see what this says? Are you sorry for the moment or are you sorry enough to change? Did you hear me just say, I'm sorry? Did you hear that? Wasn't even planned. Wasn't even planned. Good morning, Quentin. How are you? So, good morning. Good morning. Almost afternoon. The coffee is quite amazing this morning. Little shot of pumpkin spice in my coffee. Little shot of vanilla in my coffee. Yeah, yeah. Now, coffee, that changes me for the better sometimes. Faux show. Faux show. So if you're joining, say hello. If this is the first time that you've been a part of the Molly's Moments with Jesus, let me know. This is a once a week thing I do on Tuesday mornings um, to kind of address um, how to be better in your life, how to maybe acquire a better relationship, not just with God, but with people. Um, and I thought that this devotional that I read, actually I read it earlier this week, but I thought this is just right on time, especially for me. Quentin says we're doing good, just getting ready for a yard sale this weekend. Yeah, dude, I need to be doing some yard sale and I need to be doing some cleaning out. Um, I'm getting ready probably sometime this fall to start a new Facebook group that is going to be called From My House to Yours, is basically what it's going to say. And anybody is welcome. I mean, all Avon friends, people who just follow me, and all these books and different things in my house that are just too great to just like trash or to donate. I'm going to put everything on for obscene prices and some things even free. The only thing that the buyer has to do is pay the postage. Because you know what they say, one person's trash is another person's treasure. So it's on my agenda, just not in my top 10 to do that. So I'm going to be doing that. Hi, Miss Karen. How are you? And like I said, it could be everything. It could be like Christmas stuff that was given to me, stuff I've never used, books that I've read, and I'm ready to be done with it. And all the books will probably be like $3 or less, and then the postage. And most all of my books, unless I can't get them in hardback, they're all hardback. But I just figured, you know what? People are willing to pay shipping. Of course, it would just be for people in the US. So, for all of you following me from other countries, I'm sorry, you can go in and look, you just can't buy unless you really want to pay the shipping. But that's crazy. You know, that's absolutely crazy. Mm. So, oh, thanks, baby. Hi, Paula. How are you? Um, so make sure that you are letting me know. Right now, this is live, of course, but are you on the live? Are you on the replay? Hashtag live, hashtag replay. Um, Let me know if it helps you. If it helps you, maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's for somebody in your life that you're like, oh my gosh, this person needs to hear this. Take a listen. Maybe it can help you. It's amazing to me how many things that I read that hit me right between the eyes. I don't know if you've ever been there. You're like, think you're reading something, you know it's probably going to help you, and then you're just like, oh, that like seriously was for me. It's a lot of times that happens. So that's what I hope for a lot of you, whether you're watching this on YouTube or live or just on the replay here on Facebook. I do hope that these things will help you. This is basically about maybe you or somebody you know. Have you ever been the person, or have you ever been in touch with the person, or have somebody in your life that every time you turn around, they're saying, I'm sorry? They say something derogatory, they say something that, ah ha ha, they say they're kidding, but they're not really kidding. Somebody who does you wrong, somebody who takes from you, whatever it is. Good morning, Miss Tiffany. How are you, my friend? Good to see you. Have you ever, that person who just, have you ever worked with somebody say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean that, but then they come back and they do it again, and they do it again, and they do it again? Or maybe it's you in a really bad habit. Maybe it's you, how you clown off to somebody, like, you know what, you just have this issue that you say, yeah, Lee, it was the right combo for sure. Yeah, that was perfect. Um, Hi, Leslie. Hi, Luana. How are you? Uh, but do you ever say to yourself, I'm so tired of you saying I'm sorry? Or how about, I'm so tired of saying I'm sorry. I feel like that's all I do, and I obviously need to fix what's going on in my life. I obviously need to fix what's happening in my life. I obviously need to identify this relationship that I have with this person who is always doing something to hurt me, um, punish me, sabotage me, not support me. When you feel like you get more support from a total stranger, or a total stranger teaches and treats you better than the person you would expect to treat you better. I mean, hi Rosie. I know a lot of people, um, you know, I know that they experience this, because I know I'm not, yeah, Scott, absolutely. Scott, good to see you on here. I know you're so busy these days, so I know you're not on a lot, but so good to see you. Um, Yes, and then they apologize for saying sorry. Yeah, absolutely. It's like, I'm so sorry. And I know I'm sorry for me, but I know I've done this before. I know it's like they say what you think you want to hear, but it doesn't change. And look, if we really dig deep, somewhere in all of this, we are kind of all have that going on. Maybe it's just with one thing in your life. Maybe it's just with one person. Maybe it's not you as a whole with everybody, but maybe it's because there's something deeper with you and this person. Good morning, Gwenda. Good morning, Patty. Good morning, Linda. Um, I believe that nothing changes when nothing changes. You're looking for a different result doing the same action. We have heard this time and time again in business. We have heard this time and time again in life. But as much as we hear it, I feel like sometimes it falls on deaf ears. I feel like sometimes, no matter what you hear, you just keep doing it. And then there's some people who do it so much that you wonder, why are people like this when they see them coming? Like, oh no, can we turn the corner? Did they see us? Oh my gosh, here they come. We got what's the story? What are we gonna do? Because this person just doesn't bring the best out in you. Hey, Miss Mary, good to see you. Um, I think we all have those people, and I think if we're not careful, we can all be that person too. For me, I try really hard not to. I am a fan for saying I'm sorry. Hi, Miss Jan. I am a fan for identifying and being sorry for things I say, for coming at people, for maybe in an argument, instead of it just being a calm argument, you spout off with just hateful things. That even when you go back, you hear yourself saying it and you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I just said that. Now you know I'm going to have to apologize. The worst case scenario for stuff like that is when you do it over and over and over and over and over again, and there is no change. Some of us married people like that. Some of us have bosses like that. Some of us have team members like that. Some of us have uplines like that. Some of us have friends like that, family like that. And don't you hate, look, like in my life, it's always been, um, oh, but it's just like it's just Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe, you know how he is, Molly. Uncle Joe, just that way. He's never going to change. And people just start accepting the abuse, the hateful words, because that's who he is, because that's who she is. And in reality, that's just so unnecessary. It is so wrong. Seriously. To just allow somebody to be that person over and over again, you're certainly not helping them change, because you're saying, well, it's okay because of who you are, because you're in our family, because you're on my team, because you work at my job, because you're my kid. Oh, yeah, it can hit really close to home. That's okay. No. Or maybe with you, it's, oh, well, because I'm their mom, they're going to have to deal with it because I'm the only mom they have, or I'm the only dad they have, or I am who I am, and I speak my mind. Nobody said when you speak your mind that means you have to be hurtful, that you have to be the person. In my Onward No Matter What group, and for the majority, 97% of the time, it's great. And we've also gotten rid of people who were problems like this, that they come in, somebody asks a question, and they come in with such a condescending tone, like treating the person who's asking like they're stupid. Like it is bothersome of them to even read the question or read the comment, or instead of having this helpful servant attitude to get somebody through something, they step all over them and their feelings. And to me, it infuriates me, because I'm immediately like, whoa, one, this isn't what my company's about, but two, this isn't what my group's about. And if y'all want to go do that in somebody else's group, you go ahead and you feel free. But you're not going to come into a section of my life and do that. But let me be clear. There was a time in my life that I absolutely allowed that behavior. And matter of fact, there were many times I said I was sorry when I wasn't even the one who did anything wrong. But I was just like clearing the path or something. Clearing the path to being, I'm sorry. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. And you're not even thinking about what you're saying you're sorry about. You're just saying sorry because you're always the one just trying to make everything okay. Just trying to say, you know what, if it was me, if I said it, I'm so sorry. You don't even know what you're sorry about. You just think it's going to fix everything. Newsflash, it's not. It's not. You think you're doing the right thing, but it's not. Even in my business world, and I don't care. You all know I DoorDash, and you also know I have an Avon business. Gosh, I've done so much. Whether it's waitressing, working for doctors, I worked at Target for a while. There's so many things I've done in life that there was always something about it that was, kind of hard or whatever it may be. I'm sorry, but I quit. I see this so much in my business and direct sales. I'm just sorry, Molly. I don't mean to disappoint you, but I quit. And I'm like, but you've been in like a nanosecond. Like you haven't given anything any time. Why would you quit on my company? Why would you quit on yourself like that? Just wondering, just asking. And then they want to be apologetic for quitting. And the thing is, no, I don't want them to stay where they don't need to be, where they don't feel like something is for them. But I feel like I'm sorry and I quit, and all of that comes so easy in today's world. This isn't for me. This isn't for me because I'm not an instant millionaire here. This isn't for me right now because you know what? God's not answering that prayer right now. This isn't good for me. God, you're not good for me in this because you're not giving me what I want at the time that I want it. Because really, God, all I want is for you to be a genie in a bottle for me. Sometimes when bad things happen in our life and we suddenly find the time for God, and look, we're all guilty of it. When things are bad, when somebody's sick, when somebody dies, when somebody has been in an accident, when somebody's going through a bad relationship, and immediately we run and we drop to our knees or we start praying where we are and asking God, God, please help me for this. Please, I'm sorry. God, anything I've done that would make you not hear me, which he's going to hear you, but anything that you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, God. But you know what I feel like God never hears? Yes, you're sorry. You're sorry that what you've been doing. You're sorry that you may have been a part of bringing this path, this unhealthy path, maybe which has led you to being sick or not getting better, whatever it is. I'm sorry, but the one thing you don't see in all of it is change. Sorry is just sorry. Sorry is very simply just letting God know that you feel bad, letting that person know you feel bad. But somewhere in between things, between the sorry, in order to do better, in order to be better, in order to be different, in order to let go of that bad thing that you attempt to do over and over again because it's just who you are, there has to be change. So this totally spoke to me in a lot of different areas, and I'm hoping it will to you because it seems like every time I read a daily devotional, there is always something personal to me that I can bring out to you that really, look, I don't know how your life is going. I don't know what goes on behind the scene. I don't know what your struggles are. But what I have learned is even in my struggles, I have to look at me first. And when I get into the Bible or I get into my devotionals, believe me, it makes me see me first. It is an instant mirror that is in front of me, telling me, girl, you need to change something that's going on in your life right now. The verse that this is based on is 2 Corinthians 7:10. And that verse says, godly sorrow brings repentance that leads to salvation and leaves no regret. But worldly sorrow brings death. Godly sorrow brings repentance that leads to salvation and leaves no regrets. Hello, Angela. But worldly sorrow brings death. Let's get to this. My heart is stirred today to say it's time to quit. Not ministry, not a diet or an exercise plan, but quit being critical of a friend I love very much. The crazy thing is, I'm not a critical person, but I found myself slipping into a pattern of giving this person what they give me. Oh, my mama used to say, Molly, watch who you hang with. Molly, watch who you pattern yourself with. Molly, watch who you choose when it comes to friends. Molly, watch who you're with because, Molly, if you live with snakes long enough, you will start thinking like a snake. You'll start eating like a snake. You'll start acting like a snake. You will pattern the snake. And that would go for anything. So I thought this was interesting. But I found myself slipping into a pattern of giving this person what they give me. They criticize. So I've started criticizing back a lot. And I'm feeling very convicted today that I need to model a different attitude and approach to life. Recently, my pastor said something very convicting in his sermon. He said, Jesus didn't die so we'd be sorry. He died and then he was resurrected so we'd be changed. Ooh, that's big. Jesus didn't die so we'd be sorry for our sins. He died and then he was resurrected so we'd be changed. Changed. There is a big difference between being sorry and being changed. To be sorry means to feel bad. It's a temporary little prick of the heart. But change only comes with repentance. Being repentant is a deeper conviction to correct and transform our behavior, our habit, our wrong tendency. In 2 Corinthians 7:10, we learn godly sorrow brings repentance. It leads to salvation and leaves no regret. But worldly sorrow leads to death, leaves no regret. Those are powerful words. Oh, how many times have you had regret for something going on in your life? For something you did that you go, oh, I really need to take that back. If I could take that back, and you know you can't. Oh, you can go say I'm sorry, but you cannot take that hurtful cut away. And when you stab somebody with that knife in their back, you cannot just take that knife out and think that things are not going to flow. And when you go down that wrong path, when you drink and drive, whatever it may be, and then there's an accident and you take another life, oh my goodness, you have regret. You wish you didn't. You're so sorry. But what you should have done is changed where your path was going. The thought of getting in a car at all after drinking and getting behind the wheel. The thought of, through anger, just knifing somebody in the back. And I don't mean physically, although it feels that way sometimes, but absolutely trying to mar their reputation, absolutely trying to cut every feeling, every emotion they have. And then when you get a hold of yourself or you think back, you go, oh, I'm sorry. But what happens is after you say I'm sorry, you never go back and revisit why. Why did you take that path? Why did you take the path to such an extreme that you were going to make sure that that person was going to be down for the count, even if that person wronged you first? Mama used to say, Molly, 2 wrongs don't make a right. It's amazing to me how much I use that even now with my adult kids. You know what you want to do when somebody hurts you. You know what you want to do when somebody talks smack about you. You know what you want to do when you're being criticized behind your back, when they're looking at you to your face and telling you they love you and telling you they respect you and telling you that they have your back. They have you no matter what until they don't. Until something within them, they just forget it all. They forget that they were supposed to be my ride and die. They forget the fact that they were supposed to be the person that when you tripped up, they helped pick you up. And then when you really look and you think back, you start to notice that there were signs. There were signs that this was not just a one-time thing. It's just that you had allowed it so much in your life with this person that it hit an all-time new low. I learned a lot from almost 20 years with Avon. I learned that there was no way for me to do what I did and not have haters. You notice I post about them a lot. I guess they can't get enough. I don't know what that looked like. But obviously, they may not talk to me. They may be blocked, but they always have something to say. Always. And although nothing that I do is directed to them, I obviously just rub them the wrong way, but they want to just put on a smear campaign to smear me. Maybe it's somebody that is in your family that in their mind, they just know how things are. They just know how you feel, yet they don't talk to you about it. They talk to everybody else, but they don't talk to you about it. And when you say something, they ain't got a problem. No, I got no problem. What you talking about? I ain't got no problem. When the door has been opened right there to say, we want change. I want change. I don't want to live like this. I don't want a relationship like this. And somewhere along the line, they have forgotten to bring God into it all, because when I do something that's out of my ordinary, when I do something that puts me in a place that makes me so uncomfortable that God convicts me of it, the first thing I think is, what brought that out in me? And now my thought is, God, show me what brought that out in me. I don't want to ever be that way with a team member again, with a family member again. God, I want to learn how to love people through the hurt. God, if they're not going to change their ways, teach me how to change my reaction. Show me, God, how to show the love to somebody that you have shown to me and everybody else who's ever existed. Show me that I can't make people change, but I can be the change in my own life. I cannot control what they do to me, but I can control my reaction to it. And that's not always easy, right? That is not always easy. Sometimes you want to go up and you want to tell that person exactly how wrong they are, exactly how they hurt you, exactly. And sometimes when you hear yourself saying what really upsets you, sometimes do you ever go back and go, whoa, wait a minute. Okay. I mean, is my reaction because of something I've experienced in my past and really they weren't doing anything wrong? Is it because of where I've been in my life before and I feel like, oh great, here we go again. Thought I could trust this person, thought I could trust this church, thought I could trust this pastor, thought I could trust this man in my life, thought that my kids finally got it. How we respond leaves no regret. I want to live a life of no regrets. And I think today is a really good day to address something that could lead to a big old pile of regret. So each time I'm feeling the need to criticize, I'm going to see it as a call to flip my words to encouragement. She's so right. This again, guys, this is Miss Lysa Turkhurst. I love her so much. She is like so wise beyond her years. She says, so each time I feel the need that I'm going to criticize this person, instead, I'm going to stop. I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to flip my words and I'm going to encourage. When somebody's hating on you, do you know what we should do? We should love them through it. Oh, address it. Absolutely. But to turn around and criticize and show somebody all their wrongs, there is nothing about that that is going to help you live with no regret. What I know is every time something that happens like that, every time somebody stabs me, every time somebody's running their mouth, do you know what I want? What I want for them is, sure, I want them to stop, but I can't control that. What I want to do is know that my reaction is absolutely solid. How can I still love them through it like God does? No, very true. Sometimes I have to love somebody from over there. They're not meant to be in my everyday life. But I'm not going to pin up a bunch of hate. I'm not going to pin up a bunch of anger, a bunch of resentment, a bunch of how many ways can I get to them? Okay, what can I do now? How can I one up their game of what they're doing? How in the world does that bring peace and joy and contentment for you? And above all, how in the world does it leave you with a life of no regret? You're going to punish somebody. You're going to punish somebody for what they did, and yet what you're serving them is no better than what they've done to you. And sadly, if you were honest, you would say, that didn't really make me feel better. That really didn't fulfill me. That didn't leave me feeling like I'm never going to have regrets. Because God's not going to hold you accountable for what somebody else does to you. But God is going to hold us accountable for our reaction to the person who wrongs us. It's okay to move out of the way. It's okay to say this person is not in my best interest. That's okay. But when you consistently bring somebody into your life who is always doing the wrong, nothing changes when nothing changes. You can tell them. And when you tell them, a lot of times they'll go, "Oh, I'm sorry if that's how you took it. That's not what I meant." Have you ever heard it? Have you ever said it? I have on both accounts. If that's how you took it, or that's how I said, I'm so sorry. We need to quit worrying about how sorry we are, and we need to concentrate more on how we're going to change. And it ain't going to be easy. It ain't going to be easy. I might still need to address some issues with this person, but I will do it by pointing out their strengths and their responsibilities that come with those strengths rather than constantly focusing on their weakness. When people hit you, they don't hit you where you're strong, right? And when we hit back, we don't hit them where they're strong either. We go after their weaknesses. I didn't have my mom long in life, 16 years. But even at 10, 11, 12 years old, she taught me so much that I really didn't get. I really hadn't comprehend. I really hadn't lived something in my life. But this is what I know. I listened. I listened because now as an adult, now at 60 years old, these things still come back to me that my mom said. And I think, oh, Mama, if you can hear me, you don't know how right you were. And although I don't think she knew she would be leaving me at the age of 16, she pretty much put some really, really great, powerful ideas into my head and into my life that she knew that I was going to need in my future, whether she was right there with me or not. So many people in the business call me Mama Molly. And there were a lot of people in my life when I was 13, 14 years old. They loved my mom so much. They loved coming to my house. They loved hanging out. My mom was always part of stuff with my school, and she was such an artist. She could freehand draw anything that you gave her. So, like when it came to Spirit Week and things like that, let me tell you, my mom was the bomb. We won everything hands down. And I was looking for a picture in the albums the other day of so many albums, and I saw some of those school pictures of things that she has done, like freehanding Tony the Tiger. Just things that when people look at, they go, "Oh, where did you get that made?" Well, we didn't. My mom drew it. She had talent, but she was wise. But I found out through many stories that I didn't know when I was younger that my mom became wise because of her experiences, things she had been through in her life. And it was a short life because she only lived to see 44 years old. But she was able to leave those things with me that even though I didn't always grasp them right at the moment, here we are. Here we are. And this is one of them. This is one of them. Um, Stop trying to get down on everybody else's level that wants to wrong you and see who can be the top wronger, right? Oh, you know what? You that hurt. That you hurt me. But let me tell you now, I'm going to hurt you now for the rest of your life. Wow. So what you don't like about this person, now you're going to become that person instead of changing into something much greater that God has planned for you in your life. It would have been so easy in so many places in my life to just not taken the high road, to just have done something different, to have made that wrong turn and made that wrong choice. And many times I did, but it never really felt right. But I did it anyways. So see, nothing changed when nothing changed. And then as I got older, I started getting wiser. And I realized that there is always going to be people in my life who sometimes they even think that they're helping me by being negative. Sometimes they think they're helping me. They're trying to reset my direction. And what they don't realize is I'm not on the path they want me to be. I'm not even on the path I want to be. I'm on the path God wants me to be on. And when God isn't happy with where I'm at on that path, believe me, he's going to redirect me. He is going to redirect every step of the way. I don't always like the path my kids are on. And they're grown adults. I pray for them. And then I realize that God's got them. God's going to handle them. And even if they are on a wrong path from time to time, it always amazes me. They take this shortcut through the woods of life. And it is so much worse and so much harder in the woods of life, right? It really is. They could have just stayed on God's path and it would have been okay. And they didn't. And then when they finally come back out of the woods, they realize they were back on the path that God intended them to be on. But boy, was there a lot of time wasted there? There was. But it wasn't for naught. Because what they learned on that path, they're going to take with them on the path that God has shown them. Why? Because now somebody's going to come into their life and everything they just experienced, it's going to help them react differently because some of those things change you. You just got to know they're changing you for the better. Even when it is your decision to go off the path. Not necessarily God's decision for you to go off the path. You just remember choice. Choice, y'all. Free will. Choice. That's what he gives us. Choice. Everything out there is a choice. No matter what it is that you are doing with your life, you need to understand, yes, it's a choice. Well, Molly, I can't. I got these kids and that's, no. It's a choice. It's a choice. How you're going to react going forward. Are you going to quit? Are you going to be negative? Are you going to be a critical person? Are you going to live a life with no regrets? Are you going to be constantly regretting and saying, I'm sorry, and yet not change a thing? This says, for example, you are an influencer. Have you noticed when you are happy, others are happy? But when you are negative, it really affects those around you. I need your help to keep things positive today. Do you think you can accept this leadership role? How can you be a positive influence in this situation? I'm not naive enough to think that this is always going to be easy. I will need grace. They will need grace. But at least if I'm aware of how I need to change, then the change can be set in motion. Are you up for quitting some old habits, a negative attitude, wrong tendency, backbiting, hurtfulness, jumping the gun? I know I am. The next time that I'm presented with an opportunity, let's remember these words. Jesus didn't die so we'd be sorry. He died and then he was resurrected so we'd be changed. But newsflash, y'all, the change is still up to us. He did everything that he was supposed to do to enable us to change. We don't have to react like the rest of the world, the rest of social media, who is so hateful, keyboard bullies, trying to bring people down. There's no laughter. There's no fun. There's no positivity. They see somebody, and if they see a key of weakness in anything, they will go after it like a cockroach, and they will come for you. Find your strength in God. Find the change within yourself and note that you want to change. Stop being sorry. Oh, we're going to be sorry the rest of our life. But when you are in a position that says, oh, I'm sorry, start thinking, I don't want to be sorry about that again. What change can I make in my life? My prayer is always, God, show me. God, show me where I need to be better, because I have a lot of people watching me, God. And although I know I'm going to mess up, I don't want to mess up when it comes to how I am with people or how I react to people. Many people in the onward group will tell you that it's been, Lord, how many years have we had that onward group now? 12, 13, I don't know. And when I first opened it, man, I was brutal. I was. People would come in there, they'd do something. It's like I wasn't showing them. I had not learned how to show people grace. I am tough, but I've learned how to be tough with love. I've learned how to be patient and show people there is a better way. And I'm finally okay with telling people where those changes have come from. And it starts with God in my life. It starts with me being better. It starts with me stopping in the moment and saying, whoa, before you react to this, are you going to be sorry, or are you going to show them what change looks like? That is so powerful. To know that you have the ability to be better, and you are no longer going to take the cop out that says, I've been this way my whole life. Everybody's just going to have to accept it. I got news for you, Cupcake. They're not accepting it. Matter of fact, they're trying to get away from you. They're trying not to be mean about it. When you look around and you're hearing nothing but crickets, that's why. Because you've said, I'm not going to change. I am who I am. When you are in that moment of hurtful, unthoughtful, not caring, constantly like, I'm sorry, what did I hurt your feelings? You know how I am. No. If what you're doing is hurting somebody, the change needs to start with you. If I'm hurting somebody, the change needs to start with me. But change is a choice. Change is a choice. The Avon world has dealt with more change in the last 3 years than I have seen in my whole almost 20 years with Avon. And there isn't one sale that's had to be adjusted. That's easy. No, my tribe, probably up until me saying it now, has no idea what my first reactions were in private to so many things. But I had to figure out what I could control. And the only thing I can control in anything in my life, in my marriage, being a mom, being an aunt, being a leader, being a mentor for people. The only thing that I have the absolute control over changing is me. Me. So yes, I am Mama Molly who is going to show you how I'm adjusting my sales. This year in our business has not been easy. I know. A lot of leaders don't talk about that. I do. We are in, and this won't mean a lot to a lot of you, won't mean anything to a lot of you. We are getting ready to go into campaign 18 of 26 campaigns for the year. And I just, in campaign 17, hit President's Club with our company. Now, I need you to hear this. On a good year, that would have happened in campaigns 9, 10, maybe 11. It didn't for me because there are a lot of sales that have had to be adjusted, and there still are. Hey, Miss Kathy, there still are. It's not over, but I'm invested. I'm invested in my business. I'm invested in my customers. I'm invested in my team. I'm invested in my tribe. I'm invested in my company as a whole. I'm invested. And the only thing that's going to change is how I react to what I can't control. I found when I saw that I made President's Club, look, it's horrible for me to say, oh, President's Club, yeah, oh, yeah, good, 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 good. No, when you are going through storms of life and business and you hit something that you know how hard you've had to work to get there, no matter when it took place, man, it created this surge in me that all I wanted to do was celebrate that, yes, the change was right for me. I'm not saying the Avon changes, I'm saying my changes to them. That no matter what happened, I was going to decide I was going to get there, even if it was later than normal, even if it took more work, even if I had to do things I normally wouldn't do, even if it should have been easy during this point in my business, even though, no, I am in the here and the now, and it took me to be the leader I needed to be and do what I needed to do because my team deserves for me, my tribe deserves for me to live what I tell them. So being honest about the struggles, being honest about the fact that if you're not there yet, quit Quit saying I'm sorry to yourself. I'm sorry, I'm just not as good at this as Molly is. I'm sorry, I'm just, everybody else, but I'm not. You are not alone. All you can change is how you react and what you do, my friend. Business, that relationship with your husband that maybe you feel like is on the rocks, the relationship with your kids. I'm not saying that when you make a change, it's going to change them. I'm saying that's all you can control is how you react. And God has all of this written out for us. Godly sorrow brings repentance that leads to salvation and leaves no regrets. But worldly sorrow leads to death, leaves no regrets. I don't want to have any regrets. And really, if you're honest, I don't think you do either. So, if you want change from somebody who's wronging you, the only thing you can change is how you react to it. And sometimes that's putting distance. And you can do that with love. Sometimes it's calling them out and letting them know, no, it's not just you, it's you who doesn't want to make a change. Because if this was important to you, you would try to change. Like I said, you may want to share this. You may want to tag somebody. You may want to just say, wow, this is different. Maybe nobody has told them if they don't change, lots is going to change when you change your reaction to them. Gwenda, we will definitely be praying for you, my friend. And Lawana, yes, you want your relationship with your daughter better. Not overnight, sister. A lot of prayer. Watch your reactions, my friend. Be consistent. Sometimes it's so hard. But God hears it. God's reading this. God knows. He knows. And it's hard not to bounce back at our kids when they come at us for something. It's hard not to bounce back at your husband or your wife when they're coming at you about something. You know, you just want to bounce back, and you want to hit them in the gut just like they hit you. And yet doesn't help what you really would like to have in the end, which is some understanding, which is some conversation, which is some change, which can lead to godly good and better relationships and better end results. Starts with you, starts with me. Try it, because I'm telling you that if you're ready to give up some old habits and some negative attitudes and some wrong tendencies and get rid of those weapons in your back pocket, the knives, the way you want to stab somebody first before they get to you, get rid of those things. Because if you do, in life, in business, in love, in family, in all of it, change only starts with you. I hope this helped you. I know when I read it for the third time in a week, it certainly helped me. Always remember there's a big difference between being sorry and being changed. I love you guys. See you next week.